if you South Church. If you are competing for Skills USA and need help with your resume, Mrs. McGarvin will be available today during CP in Streeter 225. Students should come with a complete draft of their resume, not to exceed 1 page, preferably done using a Google template. There will be a quick India trip participant meeting today at 3:15 in the Tinker House. Talent show signups continue this week. Auditions will be held next week, Monday through Friday. Please see Mr. Lovett in Colby 201 to sign up. Join us for Knitting Club this afternoon from 3:45 to 4:45 in Severance 16. We have all the supplies and expertise you need to start a new project or finish an old one. Attention writer's block. We will not meet on Thursday due to Parents' Night. We'll be back next week. Unfortunately, we will have to postpone our climbing trip until next Thursday due to Meet the Teachers' Night. Again, we will go climbing next Thursday, not tomorrow. Tickets have been purchased for the NCAA Final Fours, and March Madness has lived up to its name with upsets galore. Currently, on the SJA Bracket Challenge leaderboard, the women's side is topped by Meredith Rogers in first place, followed closely by Hayden Wilkins in second place, and Emily Lumbra in third, all of whom predict South Carolina to be the final victor. On the men's side, Mrs. Cobb sits in first place, while Adriana Hever and Ms. Lang are not far behind, holding in second and third places respectively. Remember, a Dunkin's gift card for your advisory and a chance to support a charity of your choice are the prizes on the line. As teams head into the final 4 games, upsets could still shake things up. Stay tuned next week to hear who will be crowned the champions. Now, Mr. Camilio's joke of the week. A strange thing happened to me this morning. I woke up laughing. I must have slept funny. Happy birthday today to Connor Decker. Happy birthday. That's all. Have a great day.
Thank you, Theodora. There is one late announcement. So the all-Metro teams have been selected for the boys' basketball. Rex Hauser earned honorable mention honors. Harry Gang was selected to the first team all-Metro. So congratulations to those 2 young men. Thank you. Nice job. So I now get to introduce a couple of people that help with the whole student here at the Academy. And so I'm going to introduce Mr. Erain to start introducing the trips for next year. So please welcome Mr. Erain.
Good morning, St. Johnsbury Academy. It is great to be here in Big Chapel with you all. Just last month, a week before our break, we had our first group of students since the pandemic head off campus, go to Logan Airport, fly overseas, and spend time on an Academy trip. We have some more trips coming up in the April, and I know some of you are on them and are very excited about that, and I'm super excited about it for you. We are ready to present our trip offerings for the coming year, and this is another first too, in that we can get started actually before the summer and do some longer term planning, and this also allows you to do some longer term planning. Conversations with your parents, maybe saving up over the summer so that a trip like this can be a reality for you. But certainly we're excited to be sending students abroad. Everybody needs an escape now and then, and everybody needs enrichment, and everybody, all of us, benefit from other perspectives and other views and looking at the world through the eyes of other people. And that's what all of these trips endeavor to do to some degree or another. So I'm going to cut my words here short, and I'm going to introduce the leaders of this first trip that are they'll review this to you. I think it's a pretty exciting destination, but I do want to state this. You see, we're beginning here with April. I know. We have trips in February as well, but there was a conflict in terms of scheduling with one of our trip leaders, and so we're doing April today, and then tomorrow you're going to see more trip offerings for February of 2024. So with no further ado, I will introduce to you Ms. Cote and Mr. Raya.
Good morning. Did you know that Nepal has 8 of the world's 10 tallest mountains?
Did you know that the Nepal flag is the only triangular flag in the world?
And did you know that Nepal has over 80 ethnic groups and over 120 languages?
Wow, that sounds incredible. If only St. Johnsbury Academy could offer a trip to such an exciting place.
Well, I just heard that Mr. Rayla and Ms. Cote are co-leading a trip there next spring.
Come with us next spring break in April of 2024, where you will get to explore the cities, the foothills, and a gorgeous lake in the mountains.
So this trip will be an opportunity to immerse ourselves in a diverse and unique Asian culture and experience, of course, delicious food. There will also be an opportunity to learn about unique Nepalese artisanship and explore and view elaborate murals and paintings, and hiking in the Himalayan mountains.
And it will be also an opportunity to get to do some community service with some local youth similar to your age.
So we will actually be holding an informational meeting on Friday, April 14th in Tinker Health Services at 3:15. And if you have any questions beforehand, you can certainly reach out to either one of us. We're in Tinker Health Services, and we would love to have you on this really incredible trip and are excited to be able to share this adventure with you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
All right. There's their information. Good morning, everybody. So I'm offering a trip next year, also in April, to Ecuador, beautiful Ecuador. This trip, we will travel to Ecuador, which is in South America. All of you who have studied Spanish here know exactly where it's located, I'm sure, north of Peru. And on this trip, our goals will be to practice speaking Spanish. We'll spend time with local people and learn about their culture and explore the incredible diversity of Ecuador, from the peaks of the Andes Mountains to the tropical Amazon rainforest. In these photos, you can see a group of high schoolers actually who traveled to Ecuador playing soccer, and they have an interesting participant on their team there in the goal. We would also be doing community service work like the Nepal trip. So one possible project is working in a school to help them with things like painting. This group went down and helped to paint this school. There are other opportunities in organic gardening and other projects where we'd work alongside people in the community. Another thing we would do with people in the community is learn about different crafts and art that they do, such as jewelry making, and be able to work with them to learn a little bit about these crafts. So we would meet people, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to do a homestay, in fact, in a small town in the Andes Mountains and actually live with people. No one would be alone. You would have a partner with you from the academy, but to actually live with a family and get to know people. We would also travel to some cities in Ecuador, such as, this is the city of Otavalo, which is famous for its market. They have a huge food market, but also craft market, where they have these incredible textiles that they create in Ecuador. We would also explore, as I said, the mountains and the rainforest. Here you can see some pictures of the lake on the bottom. There is Quicocha Lake. It's a 200-meter deep volcanic lake in a volcanic crater. So hiking around that lake. At the top, you can see this woman sitting in what's called the swing at the end of the world, which is in Baños, Ecuador. And down here are the waterfalls called the Pailón del Diablo, which is also near Baños. So exploring, hiking, possibly rafting, having adventures in this amazing landscape. Also, I'm excited to understand the difference between alpaca and llamas. So this is a llama, and these are alpacas, which are really fluffy. So we will have a meeting on Wednesday, April 12th, that's 2 weeks from today, in my classroom, Newell 13, at 3:30 after school on Wednesday. So I hope to see many of you there, and feel free to come talk to me anytime in my classroom in Newell if you want to know more about this trip. Have a great day.
A lot of elevation on both those trips, and I'm married to a Peruvian. I still get alpacas and llamas mixed up. I don't know. I'll never learn. So there are a couple more trips just to be mindful of. First of all, Japan. If you have taken or are taking Japanese as a class, you are likely eligible for the Academy's all expenses paid trip to Japan. You don't pay hardly a penny. They are going to be, we've got a trip going this year, heading out in just a couple of weeks. So it's a beautiful journey through Japan. Visit Tokyo and Kyoto. Actually, this year's group is going to be going to Nagasaki. They'll briefly be in Hiroshima, but yeah, they'll be visiting shrines and temples and castles. They'll see the cherry blossoms, and of course, they'll experience the excitement and the buzz of the one of the largest cities in the world, Tokyo. They'll also visit our partner school, Kaijo Gakuen, at least for a brief visit there. So that will be organized in the fall. The application process for that will be in the fall, so stay tuned if that's something you're interested in. And finally, the summer. We are looking, once again, to resuscitate the exchange program that we have with the school, with our partner school in Freiburg, Germany. So this is it's closer to a 5-week program where we spend about 5 days in Berlin and then spend 4 full weeks in Freiburg attending a school there and taking some German classes. That's what Deutsch lernen means up there. You live with host families, you will have partners, and then this is a 2-part exchange. So you go and stay with somebody, with their family, and then at the end of the summer, in the early fall, they come back here and stay with you and your family. And that's why for 5 weeks we can do this for about $3,500. So you visit Berlin. Here's the Holocaust Memorial in Berlin, a very, very powerful monument. There's like a single-person roller coaster after a hike up in the Black Forest, which is where Freiburg is. And look, there's a group of happy young people. I think that was it wasn't the last time we went there, but one of the last times. So anyhow, we'll be having an organizational meeting for that in Ranger 113 at 3:30 on April 5th. There will be more announcements reminding you of that. So I want to urge you a couple things. If you are interested at all in any of these trips, you need to step up. This is not something where you can wait and think about it and hem and haw and whatever. You need to act on this. So these organizational meetings, I know you can't get to them all, but then you can reach out to the trip leaders and let them know you're interested, you want the information, and then talk about it with your parents and see if this is something that you can make a reality for you. I am also fully aware that not everybody can afford these trips. That is the way it is, right? However, the Academy does have some scholarships, 2 or 3 every single year for students who meet our need criteria and who really want this. Okay, so we're sending 3 students overseas this year. all expenses paid, because we have some generous benefactors that are a part of our expanded Academy community. So be listening for announcements for that. You know, it's a scary thing to apply for something and think, oh, I might not get it. But nothing ventured, nothing gained. Please keep that in mind. And I will see you all again with a couple more trip announcements tomorrow. So thank you for your good attention.
Thank you, Mr. Urain. Again, it's a great opportunity for people who do not have to actually organize their own trip. And it is, for some people, it's a trip of a lifetime. For most people, it's a trip of a lifetime. So I do have a couple of minutes, and I do have a opportunity today to say a few things about Women's History Month. So today is March 29th, and I'm pleased to be here today. I have chosen to use this time to have us reflect another day on the importance of Women's History Month. Whether it is women, African Americans, LGBTQ, awareness, or the appreciation of other minorities, I'm thankful for these months of awareness so that we reflect on significant people and events in the hopes that all of our days we are aware of our privilege, that we speak up, support and appreciate those who haven't gotten or don't always get fair treatment and appreciation for who they are and what they bring to the world. So I'd like to highlight some of the women who have impacted me, women who I remember as a child and who I looked up to as a teenager, and just a few of the many women who I cheer for today. I would also call them role models. These are examples of women who have refused to be held down and who refuse to remain small in the so-called man's world in which they found themselves. These women believed in themselves and have courageously made their mark. Shirley Chisholm is the first one that I would like to mention. Not only was she a woman, but an African American woman. African American women endured policies and behavior that created and maintained structural barriers, such as a lack of access to education and meaningful employment, which further marginalized and oppressed them. Shirley Chisholm, first American woman to be elected to Congress in 1969, and she was the first African American to seek the nomination for president from a major party in 1972. So as a political science major in college and interested in history and politics growing up, she was one of my role models that I looked up to. 4 years after I was born, June 23rd, 1972, was one of the major achievements for women in my lifetime. Title IX of the Education Amendments is signed into law by President Richard Nixon. It states, "No person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance." September 20th, 1973, in the Battle of the Sexes, female tennis great Billie Jean King beat Bobby Riggs. This was a big thing when I was pretty young. I was 5 years old here, and it was on our TV. In straight sets during an exhibition match aired on primetime TV and drawing 90 million viewers. I thought it would set us back 50 years if I didn't win that match, King says. After the match, it would ruin the women's tennis tour and affect all women's self-esteem. So all of those comments, I was like, thinking about those even as a young child. So July 7th, 1981, Sandra Day O'Connor is sworn in by President Ronald Reagan as the first woman to serve on the U.S. Supreme Court. She retired in 2006 after serving for 24 years. June 18th, 1983, flying on the Space Shuttle Challenger, Sally Ride became the first American woman in space, another one of my role models. July 12th, 1984, Democratic presidential nominee Walter Mondale names U.S. Representative Geraldine Ferraro of New York as his running mate, making her the first woman vice president nominee by a major party. March 12, 1993, nominated by President Bill Clinton, Janet Reno is sworn in as the first female Attorney General of the United States. July 26, Hillary Clinton becomes the first woman to receive a presidential nomination from a major political party. During her speech at the Democratic National Convention, she says, "Standing here as my mother's daughter and my daughter's mother, I'm so happy this day has come." Kamala Harris is sworn in as the first woman and the first woman of color to become Vice President of the United States. "While I may be the first woman in this office, I will not be the last," Harris said after getting elected in November. Along with these notable women, there are the women in your lives that are very important. Some are your grandmothers, your mothers, your sisters, your aunts, your teachers, etc. And you, I speak to you, the women of all ages here in this chapel. You are strong and capable and continue to do all you can do to speak your mind, work hard, to excel, and continue to impact the world. I have one more person to recognize that is a strong woman, a great mother, a great teacher, and a great wife. I'd like to thank the most important woman in my life, Mrs. Yuri. Thank you. So, Mrs. Yuri, thank you for putting up with my sense of humor, my silly ideas, and thank you for supporting me for the past 30 years, and I look forward to the next 30 as your hiking partner. So I would encourage everyone here, not just today, not just this month, but every day, appreciate and thank the women that have an impact on your life. And although this quote comes from a voice of a female, I'd like to end with this today. Here's to strong women. May we know them, may we be them, may we raise them. And with that, have a great day. Faculty.